If you're a leader in manufacturing, healthcare, or professional services, you already know the pressure to adopt AI is massive. But the real question is, how do you do it without losing control? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to give you a strategic overview of the one framework that puts you firmly back in the driver's seat, ISO 42001.
You know, this is the question that's probably keeping you up at night. How do we tap into the incredible power of AI without opening the floodgates to huge risks? It really does feel like a tightrope walk, doesn't it? Balancing groundbreaking innovation against some serious exposure. This whole explainer is designed to give you a clear, actionable path forward.
So, before we jump right into the solution, let's just take a quick moment to acknowledge the challenge we're all facing. It's a daily balancing act, a whole lot of competing priorities, and yeah, it can feel pretty overwhelming.
I'm betting this all feels pretty familiar. You're being pushed to drive efficiency with AI, but you're the one who's on the hook for any operational risks. You've got to innovate faster than your competitors, but the rules of the game are changing constantly. And you need to build that customer trust to get a competitive edge, but we all know how fragile that trust can be. This right here, this is the AI dilemma every modern leader is wrestling with.
So how do you get out of this dilemma? Well, it's not with a bunch of disconnected tools or a patchwork solution. You need a comprehensive framework that's built for this exact purpose. And that is precisely where ISO 42001 comes in.
Now, the key phrase I want you to focus on here is management system. See, ISO 4200 isn't some super technical checklist for your IT department. It's a full-on artificial intelligence management system, or AIMS. The best way to think about it is like ISO 9001 for quality or ISO 27001 for security. These are systems you probably already know and trust, but this one is tailored specifically for the unique challenges of AI.
To put it simply, this standard is your strategic playbook. It gives you the structure and the processes you need to systematically manage AI risks and opportunities. It's all about empowering you to move from that feeling of uncertainty to a place of confident, responsible governance. Okay, so how does it actually do all this? It's through a simple, really powerful, and proven methodology. The entire framework is built on a four-phase approach that, honestly, is going to be instantly familiar to any leader who's focused on continuous improvement.
It's the classic plan, do, check, act cycle. It's really the cornerstone of continuous improvement. The goal here isn't some one-time fix. No, it's about creating a living, breathing system for AI governance that can adapt and evolve right along with the technology. Let's break down what each of these phases really looks like.
First, you plan. This is all the strategic groundwork. You're aligning your AI objectives with your bigger business goals. You're defining what your risk appetite is, and you're assessing all the potential impacts. Basically, you're setting the rules of the game before your team even starts to play.
Next up, you do. This is where your strategy gets real. It becomes operational. You implement the specific controls and processes that you laid out in your plan, putting all those necessary guardrails in place across the entire AI lifecycle. And then you check. This phase is all about measurement and verification. You're going to monitor performance, you'll conduct internal audits, and you'll hold management reviews to make sure the system is actually working the way you intended and delivering on your objectives.
And finally, you act. Based on everything you learned from the check phase, you take corrective action and you drive improvements. This is what closes the loop, and it guarantees that your AI management system just gets stronger and more resilient over time.
So that's the how, but now for the most important part, the why. Why go through all this? Because implementing this framework isn't just about process, it's about getting real results. Let's look at the tangible business outcomes that directly solve that leadership dilemma we talked about earlier. First and foremost, you get enhanced safety and reliability. This is all about making sure your AI systems perform predictably and safely out in the real world every single time. So what does that actually look like? Well, for a healthcare provider, it means you have documented, auditable confidence in the AI tools that are helping with patient diagnoses. And for a manufacturer, it means your AI-powered robotics are going to operate safely and consistently, protecting both your people and your production line. Second, your AI management system gives you a really robust foundation for compliance and risk management. And in a world with more and more regulatory scrutiny, this is absolutely non-negotiable. The bottom line here is that this gives you a defensible position. You can confidently show due diligence to regulators, to your investors, to your board. And maybe most importantly, it gives you a clear roadmap to get ready for major regulations like the EU AI Act, which puts you in a proactive position, not a reactive one.
The third outcome is one of the most valuable assets any business can have: real trust with your customers and the market. You know, in today's world, responsible AI isn't just a nice-to-have. It's a fundamental part of your brand.
For a professional services firm, this means you can confidently tell your clients that your AI-powered advice is backed by a system of verifiable accountability. That is a powerful differentiator that proves you're committed to responsible innovation. It helps you build a brand that customers actually seek out and trust. And finally, this framework brings some much-needed clarity and accountability to your internal operations. It helps demystify AI, making sure it's not some black box operating in a silo, but a transparent tool with clear ownership and oversight. So for you, as a leader, this means no more ambiguity. The system requires clear roles and responsibilities for every single AI initiative, so when an issue comes up, you know exactly who's accountable. Plus, you have all the documentation to prove you've done your due diligence on assessing and treating risk.
So, what does this all boil down to for you? Well, adopting a framework like ISO 42001 is much more than a compliance project. It's a strategic leadership decision.
Look, this is not just about avoiding fines or checking off a compliance box. This is about building a future-proof organization, one that's resilient, competitive, and truly trusted. It's about taking all that uncertainty that paralyzes your competitors and turning it into your greatest strategic advantage.
The first step is really simple. It's just a conversation about how this framework can be tailored to your specific business goals. So let's talk about how you can move from reacting to AI to truly leading with it. Go ahead and reach out to schedule that conversation. Thank you for your time.